What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at White Man Can't Jump, written and directed by Ron Shelton, starring Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. White Man Can't Jump tells the story of these two basketball hustlers named Billy and Sidney, who hustled the basketball course of Los Angeles to make a little dough. Alright, so I'm going to do my best to make this review as short as I possibly can. Overall, I really enjoyed White Man Can't Jump. I have a vague memory of seeing this when I was a very little kid, but that's shit. They're just vague memories. But after watching it now with a fresh perspective and a more fully developed mind, I can honestly say that I really enjoyed White Man Can't Jump, and I think this is a really good sports comedy. So I'm going to illustrate my positives and my negatives. Positives: Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson, they make this movie. These two are great in this movie. Woody Harrelson plays Billy, who is a street hustler, and and because of his white, and because he is white, a lot of people on the basketball court don't take him seriously, and that enables him to hustle his way into getting some cash by showing off he's got some skills. Then one day he meets the Wesley Snipes character. He beats the Wesley Snipes character twice in a game, and this starts to form a bit of a partnership between the two as they become partners in the hustling game. And like I said, this movie is built on the backs of Snipes and Woody Harrelson. They give two really funny and great charismatic performances. They have a really good on-screen chemistry with one another, and I like how at the course of this movie, their rocky partnership develops into a really good friendship between the two characters. And like I said, Snipes and Harrelson make this movie work. If Snipes and Harrelson weren't in this movie, I don't think this movie would have been as good as it really is. Uh, Another thing that I like about this movie has really good, sharp writing, and it's really, really funny in a lot of areas. Like, really funny in a lot of areas. The basketball scenes are really well shot. They have a good mix of drama and comedy. I think Ron Shelton is a really good director, and he knows how to make the basketball scenes really gripping and also give them a lot of comedy in there as well. Because after all, this movie is primarily a comedy about basketball. And I think Ron Shelton did a good job at not only shooting the basketball sequences, but like I said, adding the comedy into those sequences as well. So all that stuff is great. Now, now I'll get on to my negatives of this movie. One of my negatives is the Rosie Perez character of Gloria. Now, in certain scenes, I think Rosie Perez is actually really, really good. But in other scenes, she can come across as just really, really whiny and just a very unlikable bitch. And I think the movie is trying to get me to sympathize with the Gloria character, but I don't, because she comes across as such an unlikable person, to me at least, that I'm just rooting for Billy to open up his eyes and walk away from her, because it's clear as day that Gloria, she's a hard woman to be with. Like when you watch this movie, and it comes across as if she's just greedy for money in a way. That's my interpretation of the Gloria character. That's how I view it. I don't really feel that she has a genuine love for the Billy character, or maybe she does, and she's just maybe she does, but she doesn't really care for him that much to constantly be by his side. Then again, on the flip side, towards my second criticism, Billy doesn't really learn his lesson until the end of the movie. So Billy is a street hustler, but he has a habit of getting goaded when his pride starts to get tested, and he's basically a compulsive gambler, and he kind of loses, and he always bets his money and loses when he lets his pride get the better of him. Now, I can understand how something like that can upset the character of Gloria, but at the same time, at the same time, Billy also has to learn, like, hey, listen, man, stop being a dumbo. You know you have a history of being a compulsive gambler and losing sometimes. Learn your lesson. I don't think he ever learns his lesson. And at the end of the movie, he doesn't really learn his lesson because he ends up taking a bet. Yes, he wins, but he loses his girlfriend in the end. So, and then at the end, Billy continues to goad Sydney into a bet in a game of one on one. And look, I know it's played for laughs and stuff like that, but Billy's got to learn to. Billy doesn't really learn anything at the end of the movie, for me at least. That's how I interpret it. And another thing that I don't care for, this movie has an underlying subplot about how Billy and Gloria are being on the run from the mob because they owe the mob money, because the mob gave them a shit car, and Billy won a game that he was supposed to lose. So now they're on the run from the mob. I would have done without that subplot. it's just there as time filler, and the scenes are so few and far between that I think it kind of undercuts the more interesting part of this movie, which is Billy and Sydney doing their street hustle. I would have done without the whole mob angle. Like, I would have kept the whole subplot of Gloria wanting to go into Jeopardy, but the whole mob angle, I would have gotten rid of that entirely, because you already have Billy as a character who is a compulsive gambler who has to learn his lesson, and he doesn't learn it throughout the movie. While all the while, you do have the character of Gloria, yes, who can be an unlikable bitch sometimes, but yes, I will say there are moments where I kind of do sympathize with her, because there are times where Billy just doesn't learn his lesson. So, like I said, the Billy and Gloria relationship to me is kind of a mixed bag. It has things that I liked and things that I didn't like. But overall, as a movie, I think White Man Can't Jump is really well written, really well directed. It's really fun. It's got a good comedic atmosphere to it. When it needs to be funny, it could be funny. When it needs to do its drama, it could do the drama. And I like it overall. So at the end of the day, White Man Can Jump for me gets a solid 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I wish I would have watched it more when I was younger. But I'm glad I saw it more as an adult, because now I can appreciate it more. So yes, 8 out of 10 for White Man Can Jump. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.